Is the Earth flat? I mean, is this even a real question? We've been taught since primary school that the Earth is round, like a sphere. But have you ever seen it with your own eyes? Well, no, not really. But there are tons of photos taken from space that we see every day. So who took those photos? Your friends who went on vacation in space last summer? All those photos you've seen come from a single organization, right? You've always seen the same map. But for Australians, that map looks different. So aren't you curious how the United Nations sees it? Let me show you their logo. Now think again, is the Earth flat or round? If you're looking for claims put forward by flat Earth supporters and the counter-arguments given to them, you're in the wrong place. Even a quick search will bring you hundreds of videos, articles, and endless forum discussions. To summarize briefly, there's an idea that the Earth is flat like a plate, with the North Pole at the center and the South Pole forming a boundary around the edges. They present dozens of pieces of evidence for this. Some even say there is a dome above this flat Earth, and that the Sun and Moon are actually much smaller and much closer to us. At first, it might sound a bit silly, but once you start thinking about it, doing a little research, and looking at the claims they present, your mind starts to feel confused, as if 10 videos stand between you and the truth. But I want to leave all those debates to those pages and videos, and approach the subject from a very different angle. I want to start with a letter written by the science fiction writer Asimov. In that letter, he says something like this, confusing enough already, right? Wait, as I explain, we'll all understand the issue much better. A few thousand years ago, people believed the Earth was flat. Not because they were stupid or inclined to believe foolish things, but because based on their observations, most things looked flat to them. For example, even the people living between the Tigris and Euphrates, whom we now call the Sumerians, and who were known to be highly intelligent, believed the Earth was flat based on the data they had. Remember, the Sumerians were the people who invented writing, one of the most advanced civilizations of their time. And because they were so advanced, they began to doubt. Something about what they saw didn't fully satisfy them. Later on, Aristotle gathered these doubts, objections, and suspicions and summarized them. First, travelers going south reported that some stars in the sky disappeared from view. Second, during a lunar eclipse, the shape of Earth's shadow on the moon was always a curved arc. Third, ships sailing on the seas vanished behind the horizon little by little. All of these doubts could be explained with a flat Earth model too, just like people try to do today. But on the other hand, the idea of a spherical Earth slowly began to emerge. Back then, there was no internet, no Google, nothing like that. The entire infrastructure was lacking. All knowledge and data came from libraries, and the largest and most advanced library in the world was the Library of Alexandria in Egypt. And the director of this library was a man named Eratosthenes. And not just the director, he was also an astronomer, historian, geographer, philosopher, mathematician, poet, and even a theater critic. Remember, we're talking about the 3rd century BCE. One day, while reading a book in the library, he noticed a very interesting detail. The book was written by a man in Aswan, a city in southern Egypt. Now pay attention to this man, we'll come back to him. We don't know his name, so I'll call him the man by the well, because he wrote the book next to a well. He wrote, "On the longest day of the year, June 21st, at noon when the sun is directly overhead, the shadows of the temple columns disappear completely, and even the water in this well, which is always in the shade, begins to reflect the sun." This tiny detail is basically where our current model of the universe began. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but still, this is where it starts. After reading this, Eratosthenes wondered, does this also happen in Alexandria? So he experimented, and saw that the shadow didn't disappear. There was a shadow of about 7 degrees. From this, he concluded that Earth must have a curve. He even paid someone to travel to Aswan and measure the distance between the two cities. Distances back then were measured in stadiums. The distance between Alexandria and Aswan was calculated as 5,000 stadiums. The shadow angle was about 7 degrees, which is roughly 1/50th of 360 degrees. So, 50 times 5,000 is equal to 250,000 stadiums. Thus, he calculated Earth's circumference as 252,000 stadiums. In ancient Egypt, one stadium was about 157.5 meters. Multiply 252,000 stadiums by 157.5 meters and you get about 39,690 kilometers. Modern measurements show he was off by only about 1.6%. Was he wrong? Sure, but compared to flat Earth claims, he was off by only 1.6%. Then came Ptolemy, also from Alexandria, who said the Earth was a sphere and the center of the universe. Then came Nasir al-Din al-Tusi from Khorasan, who calculated the motion of the planets and showed that Ptolemy was wrong. Then came Copernicus from Poland, who, using Tues's and others' work, proposed a heliocentric model, showing that everyone before him had been mistaken. Then Newton from England, an apple fell on his head, supposedly, and he developed the theory of universal gravitation and an entire model of the universe based on it. Each new name came from a different place, learned from the mistakes of the previous ones, and produced ideas with fewer errors. As Asimov said, mistakes are relative, and that's how the scientific method works. People from different places and nations develop scientific theories by sharing their data and findings openly, so that errors can be corrected over time and we arrive at less incorrect conclusions. But some people still say, they are lying to us. There are no real photos of Earth from space. They're all photoshopped, because humans have never been to space.